Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Go Bills podcast pregame show. I am your host, Brett McDurphy. Glad to be with you on this Sunday afternoon to kick off the Buffalo Bills and Washington Commanders game this week. We have a update for the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders so far in terms of the inactives. So I want to get to that right away because it's important to see who is going to be playing in this game, who will be out for the Buffalo Bills. So I'll start with the Washington Commanders. Their inactives so far are going to be KJ Henry, a defensive end, Trent Scott, tackle, Chris Paul, guard, tight end Curtis Hodges, Logan Thomas, who was formerly with the Buffalo Bills, another tight end, inactive, and then Mitchell Tinsley is going to be inactive. For our Buffalo Bills, it'll be Damar Hamlin, Kaiir Elam, Jermaine Ifedi, Alec Anderson, and then Poona Ford. So the only changes from last week is Poona Ford inactive this week, and Kingsley Jonathan will be active this week. So good news for the Buffalo Bills there. Pretty healthy lineup for the team. I want to go over to Facebook and go over the inactives real quick and go over the comments as well. So John Roberts said that he's surprised about some of the inactives. I'm not really surprised. It's the same inactives as the past couple of weeks. So it's just the same guys that are inactive. There was an article that came out, and I'm going to share it later on Facebook, and I'll also share it on Instagram as well. There's an article that came out with Kaiir Elam, and it's a good one too. So you guys want to watch that as well. But let's dive into this game with the Washington Commanders and Buffalo Bills, and let's talk about the weather to start off because it looks like it's going to be a pretty good day for the weather in Landover, Maryland. I want to get to the hourly forecast, though, because that is going to be the most important thing. Game temperature right now is at 65 degrees, which is perfect. It does have some chances of rain in the near future, so it should be a little bit of a rainy day. Starting off at 1 o'clock, it will be cloudy. Getting into 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, there should be some rain coming in, but overall, the winds will not be bad. It should be about 5 to 10 miles an hour for the winds, and it looks like it's going to be a good day for Buffalo Bills football. So that's where we stand for the game temperature as well as the wind. So should be a good game overall, and we'll see what the Bills do on it shouldn't be that slippery because they did put the tarp out, but we'll see what happens when the weather kicks in. But for me, let's talk about the Bills and Commanders now and get into it. This is going to be a game where Buffalo is going to have to play smart as far as with Josh Allen, and they're going to have to do a good job of making sure that they are taking care of the football against a fierce front from the Washington Commanders. This defensive line of the Washington Commanders, which is ran by guys like Chase Young, you have Payne as well, and then you have Montez Sweat. These guys are really good. They lead the league in sacks this year, so this is going to be a game where the Bills are going to have to make sure that they're taking care of the football. And also, just like John Roberts said, I'm betting on the Bills. They'll run the ball a lot today. I do think that the Bills will do that as well. They're going to have to be able to establish the run to set up the pass in this game. And I think that's going to be a really good strategy for the Buffalo Bills to be able to win this game. Another thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to take some shots deep down the field because there's guys that are going to be open. And this defensive backfield from the Washington Commanders, they don't do a good job of covering the deep balls. So Josh Allen is going to have to take some shots deep down the field, especially when the defensive backs are starting to creep up. If you see them creeping up, take a shot deep down the field to Gabe Davis or even Stephon Diggs. I want to see them do a good job of that this week. And then for the offensive line, they have a tough task in terms of keeping up with this defensive line. But we got to make sure that guys like Spencer Brown and even Connor McGovern are keeping to their assignments and making sure that they're doing a good job of that. That's going to be a tough task for the Buffalo Bills, but we will see how that works. As far as the Washington Commanders, it's going to be the fourth game that Sam Howell is going to start in his career. So not a lot of experience from him, and it should be an opportunity for the Bills defensive line to be able to get some sacks in this game, especially with Sam Howell holding onto the ball as much as he does. So I want to see Buffalo be able to get to the quarterback, make sure that they're putting Sam on the ground, make sure you're making him uncomfortable too. That's really what I want to see in this game. As far as the running backs for the Washington Commanders, they do have some good running backs in terms of Antonio Gibson, as well as Brian Robinson and J.D. McKissick. So it's going to be a good matchup for the Bills. And if you remember back to last week, the Bills gave up -2 yards to the rushing leader last year in Josh Jacobs. But this week, it's kind of going to be a different task where Buffalo is going to have to worry about stopping guys like Terry McLaurin, as well as Jahan Dotson, and even Curtis Samuel. And also you have the tight ends in the Washington Commanders that do a good job of getting involved, and Sam Howell does a good job of getting the ball to them. So I want to see Buffalo be able to do a good job of covering the pass, but also stopping the run in this game. And it's going to come down to Buffalo stopping the run and then creating 3rd and longs to make sure that Sam Howell has to convert on those 3rd and longs. So if Buffalo is able to do that and they stop the run, it's really going to come down to the strengths of the Buffalo Bills, which is the pass game and stopping the pass deep down the field. And you're going to see some interceptions from guys like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer as well. So that's what I really want to see from the Buffalo Bills this week. As far as the wide receivers go, the Bills are going to have some good matchups going up against guys like Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel, who is a mini Deebo Samuel that I like to call him. And it's a good matchup. You just heard the 15-minute warning from the Buffalo Bills that the game is about ready to kick off. It's go time for the game. So you heard that as well. And I do apologize. That's my puppy making some noise as well. So you'll hear different distractions that come into play. But we do have the to go up against Terry McLaurin, as well as Curtis Samuel, and as well as Jahan Dotson. So it's going to be a good matchup for the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be tough to go up against these guys in the Curtis Samuel, as well as Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. But you're going to have to make sure that you're doing a good job of covering these guys and making sure that they don't get behind you, because Sam Howell can throw the deep ball very well this year. So I want to see them do that as well and make sure that they're covering it. I want to get to some of the comments on Facebook, and John Roberts says that the deep ball is fine, but Josh needs to be smart and not force it, and I completely agree with him there. As well as he wonders if Leonard Floyd will be on a snap count today. I'm not sure about that, but it'll be interesting to see if he is on a snap count. And then he also said that your puppy cheering on the Bills. Yeah, she is a big fan of the Buffalo Bills. She's 65 pounds, but she's a little bit loud, and she's tries to get involved in the making sure that she's the security before the game. So she's giving me a fair warning. She's behind the scenes. You don't see her behind the camera, but she's my security team, and we had some family that came in, and we weren't expecting them as early as they came in, but it is what it is. They're here early, and we're going to kick on the Buffalo Bills and watch the game all together. So that's what happens. But let's go around the league, see the other games that are going on today, and we'll start with the AFC East. We do have a matchup in the AFC East as far as the Patriots and Jets go. That's a 1:00 game. That's at the Jets this week. So the Patriots could start 0-3 for the start of the Bill Belichick reign this year. And then you also have the Miami Dolphins and Broncos. That game is at that game is at the Dolphins. That's another 1:00 game. That's going to be a good game to watch as well. As far as the other 1:00 games, you do have the Falcons and Lions, the Chargers and Vikings, the Saints and Packers, as well as the Texans and Jaguars, Titans and Browns, and then the Colts and Ravens round out the 1:00 games. As far as the 4:00 games, the Panthers and Seahawks, as well as the Bears and Chiefs, and hopefully the Bears can take a win there and get the Chiefs down a little bit in the AFC standings. That would really help the Buffalo Bills. The Cowboys and Cardinals in a game that should be dominated by the Cowboys, but we'll see how that one goes. Steelers and Raiders are the 8:20 game tonight. So you'll see Al Michaels as well as Chris Collinsworth for that game. And then you have a doubleheader in the Monday night games this week. It's going to be the Eagles at Buccaneers at 7:15, and then the Rams and potentially the Joe Burrow-less Bengals that could go 0-3 this week. We'll see how that one goes, but that's the 8:15 game with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. But a doubleheader on the Monday Night Football schedule, so we'll see how that one goes, but should be an interesting game as well. So let's get into the keys to the game for the Buffalo Bills, and this will be presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. So let's get into those keys to the game. And there's really a couple of keys to the game for me in terms of what Buffalo needs to do to win this game, and it's going to be getting pressure on Sam Howell and making sure that they do a good job of getting him to the ground and making him rattled out there on the field. If the Bills can do that, then it's really going to come down to the Bills having to stop guys like Brian Robinson as well as even Antonio Gibson out there on the field. But Buffalo's going to have to make sure that they get some pressure on Sam Howell and make sure that they're forcing the tough passes that create interceptions out there on the field. And then it comes down to the screen game for the Buffalo Bills and making sure that they're doing a good job of stopping the I'm sorry, I had a comment that came in and I wanted to take that one out of the comments. So I wanted to make sure that that comment got out of there because that's not appropriate for us. But it really comes down to the Bills stopping that screen game and getting it out of and making sure that they're not allowing the Commanders to have the screen game get involved and have missed tackles as well. So the Bills are going to have to do a good job of not missed tackling in this game. So that'll be good to see for the Buffalo Bills if they are able to do that. And then for the Bills on offense, it really comes down to them doing a good job of creating the short passes to set up the deep passes as well. If Josh can do a good job of getting the ball to all his playmakers like he did last week where he had 9 different receivers catch a pass and he spreads the ball around, that's what I really want to see this week. If we're able to do that, then it really should be a good game for the Buffalo Bills, and then set up the run and allow the play action game to get involved. Because right now you're seeing with guys like James Cook, there's really at 97% of the snaps that he has, they're not going with 8 guys in the box. So James Cook should be running free today, and it should be good for the Buffalo Bills. But really, I want to see James Cook go off today. I want to see the running backs go off. And then I want to see Josh take what the defense gives him and then take shots deep down the field because you should have opportunities to do that as well. So let's get into score predictions. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, don't forget you can comment on your score predictions for the game. But let's get into score predictions. And my score prediction for the game is the Bills winning 45-17. And we also had Sean Kula of the Red, White, and Bills. He came on, and we also did a show with him yesterday. So if you're new to the channel and you are not subscribed to the Buffalo or the Go Bills podcast, as well as Red, White, and Bills or the Nickel City Mafia, go on over to those channels and subscribe to them because we do shows on all 3 channels as well. But we talked about the score predictions for the game, and Sean Kula said 24-17 is his score prediction for the game. So that's going to be a good one. And I believe the national media does have the Bills taking the win this week. This is going to be a game between some familiar faces that you'll like to see out here as well. You have Ron Rivera, who coached for the Carolina Panthers with Sean McDermott as the defensive coordinator, as well as Brandon Beane was the assistant general manager in Carolina to go along with the Ron Rivera and Sean McDermott. And then you also have Al Holcomb, who was with the Carolina Panthers as well. And so there's some familiar faces that you'll see on this team, as well as some players that played for the Carolina Panthers with Ron Rivera as well. You have Dean Marlowe and AJ Klein that were with the team. And I was trying to remember if there's any other ones that were there as well, but those are the ones that come to mind. And then you also have guys like, he's not even a coach on the Bills though, but they do tend to come over and check in and see how things are going. But Luke Kuechly, another guy that came to the Buffalo Bills in the offseason and helped them as well. And he's been coming to the Bills games as well. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any guys that come out and support the Buffalo Bills as well, and as well as the Commanders. John Roberts said that the national media is taking the Bills to win by more than 6.5. Yeah, I was trying to see if sometimes like Cynthia Freeland as well as the other analysts, they like to come out with their score predictions, but I haven't seen any yet. He also said that he likes the Cook's draw plays as well. I completely agree with him there. And he said the one game is on ABC on Monday night as well. We got another comment that came in as well. I want to take this one out of the channel because they should not be in here as well. But we do have about 5 minutes to go before the game. I do want to get you out to the game a little bit early. I like to make sure that you guys are able to get your snacks ready, get your popcorn ready, and get ready to watch the games as well. And I also have to put the game on the TVs as well. So we'll see you at halftime before the Buffalo, or after the conclusion of the first half. So we'll see you at halftime on YouTube as well as on Facebook. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Threads, as well as on the GoBillsPodcast.com. Click on over to the GoBillsPodcast.com, and you can find all of the upcoming shows that we're going to be doing next week. We will have that out to you immediately after the conclusion of the Commanders and Bills game, so you can stay posted on that. But we do have shows going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We do take off on Thursday because it is Thursday night football, and that's usually the day that I can get a little bit of rest and get into the rehearsal of what we're going to talk about for the preview shows. But we do have 4 minutes before the game. Let's get you out to the game a little bit early, and we will see you at halftime. As always, go Bills.